A lovely good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel, and we are back again with another exciting episode of NSAKA, where we discuss different social issues, marriage issues, relationship issues. And tonight, I have my guest as usual. We have Lance Sani Banda, who will be helping us with this discussion. Good evening, Lance. How are you?
Good evening, CJ, and good evening to the viewers, as well as good evening to Evangelist Shaabula. Good to be back on the program.
Yeah, great to have you. Great to have you. Kakadeke nze bwanjire. Lance, can you hear me? Okay, great. We also have Evangelist Shaabula in studio. Good evening, Evangelist.
Everyone, you are welcome to the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Viewers, would like to remind you that this program is not suitable for people or young persons under the age of 18 because language niyawakulu and some of the words are not suitable for young people. So ngati kuli bana bangono pafupi, please mungawauze wafendereko. If they are young, if they are children nearby, please just excuse them because this program is not suitable for young people. There's a link that we're going to share in the comment section, so please feel free to join in. If you want to make live submissions through the studio, we're going to share the link. If you want to make a comment, feel free to do so through the comment section right there. So today's topic, we are looking at marriage, and the the topic is, what is a boring marriage and what causes a marriage to be boring? Evangelist, your topic here.
Yeah. Hello. Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I go? Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
Evangelist, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. As introduced tonight, we are looking at a boring marriage. A boring marriage and the cause for this boring marriage. We'll look at the cause. What is it that causes a marriage to be boring? What is it that makes a marriage to be boring? In other words, we'll also be looking at what is it that makes a marriage to be interesting, a marriage to be enjoyable, a marriage to be fascinating, a marriage to be active. So this is what to look at. Now, when we talk of a boring marriage, we are talking of a marriage which is not interesting, which is not enjoyed by two people, husband and wife. A marriage which is not fascinating to the two people. A marriage which is not active for both husband and wife. We are talking about a marriage which is interesting to both or one person. We are talking about a marriage which has got difficulties and it has no solution. Now, we are looking at a marriage which is not happy. One of the partners is not happy. So sometimes both are not happy. with the way life is in that home. We are looking at a home whose environment is poor. There's no growth, there's no planning. You are not working together, and you are not happy as a result of that. Normally, what happens once when the marriage is not happy, in most cases, you find that one or two people, one or both in that marriage is not happy. And the reason why these marriages are not happy, it is because the expectations are not seen, do not happen. When expectations are not seen and they do not happen, in most cases what happens is that one or both will be frustrated, they will be stressed. As a result, the marriage will be affected. It will be affected negatively because of these people that are enjoying, or one of them is not enjoying. So that is what the both marriage is. Now, further to that, this boring marriage is not the parts. That causes it to be boring. Sometimes the problems can come from the sitting room. When you sit in the room, what is it what you do? What is it that happens there? The environment is that place where you are. Sometimes you ask publicly. Sometimes when you discuss, you do not agree. You compete. You are, each time you talk, you are not working together as husband and wife. That can create problems. The other issue is in the kitchen. When there are problems in the kitchen, such as there's no food, you make it eating. If it is carpenter, all the time. In most cases, it will be boring. Sometimes you find that it is only one, you are having one meal in that relationship. You are eating once in a day. You can also have a problem. That marriage can be boring. Sometimes it is your dressing. You have no clothing. You talk to your husband, and your husband is not concerned about what you are, about your complaint. You have no perfume. You have no pads for me to use when you are attending the period, because he has never attended and you never attend. So he does not mind. He is not concerned. So that also can create frustration in that marriage. And in the end, the marriage is boring. Sometimes it is in the bedroom. The way you treat each other in the bedroom. Maybe one of you is an amateur. He doesn't know how to handle the colleague or the partner well. That can create a serious problem. So that's why people get married. You should be able to be, you should be taught how to handle a man, how to handle a wife in the bedroom. Because if you mishandle your friend, or you manhandle your friend, nobody, you will not be interested to go to bed, to sleep early, or to be with your friend. Because you know that you only kind of get a good the guy is that you speak. Ukafika kujaebe amakubola. Akakuna ashura is doing nothing. That can create a problem. The other problem is what can create, boring is your profession. Certain professions can affect your marriage. you find that you are spending a lot of time at the place of work, and there's no time for you to be with your wife. There's no time for you to be with your husband. That can cause much problems and boring marriage. It can be boring marriage. Because if the husband or the wife is always alone, so your profession can actually affect your marriage. So it is important when you get married to understand that, so that you can be effective to your marriage. Because your marriage should not suffer, and your profession should not suffer. So you should be able to balance properly. The other issue that can be a boring marriage is a violent marriage, where people go to fighting, quarreling, pointing fingers at each other, trying to split each throat. So that can make a boring marriage. Not only boring, but also split the marriage. So in your marriage, as you get married, make sure that the violence is not there. Make sure that there is peace in the marriage, so that your marriage can be enjoyable. How can joy? If your husband is blocking your eye, your nose, you can't enjoy. So it will be boring marriage. The other one is stubbornness. Having a stubborn partner. It can be a stubborn husband. It can be a stubborn wife. So stubbornness is a boring marriage. So when you get married, you need to check also your attitude towards your partner. Do you easily get angry? What is the situation? How is the situation with you? Sometimes, you have a personality. You have a personality which is easily frustrated. A personality which is easily angered. So all these are things that can create a boring marriage, a frustrated marriage. And therefore, before you get married, check your attitude, check your behavior, check your mood. So moods can affect a marriage, and your marriage will be boring. So we need to improve on our mood, so that whoever it is can love to be with us and enjoy to be with us. The other problem is actually a quarrelsome attitude. There are certain times somebody will just decide, for me, I'll be quarreling with my wife, I'll be quarreling with my husband. If you develop that quarrelsome attitude, then you are creating a boring marriage, a marriage which no one would want to stay. So we need to do something about it. There are people, again, another point, who want to withdraw from whatever is happening. You see that they just withdraw, they shy away. Even when you are discussing something that is serious, or you are joking with them, they either get angry and they want to withdraw. They either withdraw, or even when you are in the bedroom, someone is like you guys. She just stands up and then I'm doing it. So all of these things can affect. So in short, what does it say? That anything that affects your partner can actually cause your marriage to be boring. Anything that is, it can create a boring marriage. So it is important for you to have a happy environment, create a happy environment, and you to be together and enjoy life. In other words, relax There must be relaxation. Go out for shopping together. Go out to the room. Go to the botanical garden. Go out, just to relax. That will help you. Then keep busy. Keep busy. Sometimes the idleness also can create problems. Keep busy. Regular and moderate work is also good for the two of you. Then you must have also what we call free time. Plan for free time. You need free time so that you can meet other people. You can do certain things. Do not be too busy with each other. Spend time together and spend time among other people where you can learn new skills and have a nice time. The other point that you need to look at is that laugh together. Laughter is very, very important. It is healthy, it helps you build your immune system. It gives you appetite to eat. It bonds you. So in your relationship, you should be able to laugh. But not that when you laugh, then someone will ask you, we will speak a child. No. There should be time for laughing. You need to have also to adopt the attitude of hope. Even when things are not okay, be hopeful that things will go good. Then the boredom will not be there. Let me end here and invite questions and contributions. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Evangelist. I'll call in Lance to come in at this point before I raise my issues. Lance.
Thank you so much, CJ. And of course, it's great to be back on the program. Apologies for not having picture. The place that I am in, that I can't allow picture. However, Evangelist, for a start, I have, I think, only one question, which I would love to get clarification or maybe more explanation on it. When you talk about a boring marriage or the causes of this boring marriage, what causes a marriage to be boring? Here, what traits exactly are we looking at? And then also, is it possible for a partner to tell that their partner is bored in this marriage because of let's say the traits that you have listed, the issue of not kitchen, sitting room, and issues of not touching one another in the bedroom and everything like that. Is one able to tell if their partner is bored in this marriage, and what is the solution to that?
Yes, it is very, very clear that one can actually tell. It is very, very clear that one can tell that the partner, his partner or her partner is not happy with the marriage. You can tell. First of all, you must understand your environment, where you are, so that you can observe changes in your relationship. If you don't understand what is there, you will not be able to know whether you are progressing or you are digressing. The issue here is that, for example, if your friend is not happy because of your late habit, she will show it. She may complain verbally. She will tell you, I'm not happy with what is happening. For her to give up, or for him to give up and become angry with you, and become bored with you, it is probably one item or one issue which has been discussed over and over, and then there's no solution that is found to that. That can create stress on the mind of the other person, and then the marriage will be affected. And therefore, you must understand that when somebody complains, it is important for you to take action so that you move together. So you can tell from the tone of the voice that this person is not happy. You can tell from the actions, the way they will handle you or handle the work or the activities in the home. You can tell that your friend is not happy. Probably others will tell you that just they eat a bit and then they stop eating because they're not happy. So that's what I'm saying. Look at the environment, look at the behavior of your friend. You should be able to see the difference between when they are happy and when they are sad. So when you notice a change of that nature, it is important for you to calm down and sit down with them and discuss with them and find a solution to it. If you are the victim, if you are the causer, it's better for you to apologize and then make amends, move, forward together with a friend. So you can tell from the action or from the word. Others they will even cry. Others they will tell you to say this is not good. Others they will just withdraw. So you'll be able to tell. So it is important for us to ensure that our colleagues or our partner does not complain because of our behavior in any way. So every day you should strive to make sure that your partner is happy. Sometimes you can even ask them when you see that they are quiet or they're not doing anything about whatever is happening. Find out from them why they are quiet or why they are not behaving the way they normally behave. Maybe something has gone wrong. So, in other words, they should be able to tell you exactly what they're not happy with, because they should also be interested in the peace of the marriage and also the development of the family or the progress that should be made. So, you are able to tell.
All right. So thank you so much, Evangelist. Now, the follow-up question which I had asked, like, so if you notice that this is what is happening with your partner, how do you get to deal with peace so that maybe peace or that happiness can come back in the marriage?
Yeah. Okay. Because each situation differs from the other one. For example, you have developed an attitude of coming late from work, an attitude of coming late from work, and you've noticed that your friend is not happy because of late coming. So what are you supposed to do? In the first place, you should decide to change. You need to change. This is behavioral change. You need to change. Your behavior should change. And then from there, explain to your friend why you are late or why you come late. Explain to her. And then apologize for coming late. And promise to do better. That way, you'll be able to sort out the problem. And I've just given an example of someone who comes late. For example, if you are a violent person, you are always fighting your wife, you are always beating your wife, and you realize that what you are doing is not right, you should stop. First of all, stop the behavior. That behavior should stop. Then from there, tell her you will not do it again. So you have a responsibility. The onus is with you, the one who is making mistakes. So it is important that you do it, and you should be able to discuss any problem that rises should be discussed between two people, so that you can also hear from the side of the person that you've offended. Very, very important. So that's how you do it.
Thank you very much, Evangelist. There is a situation that came through our WhatsApp line. I'll be sharing it soon. I'll share it once I have it in the comment section. Now, in terms of marriages being boring, in what of sexual issues? Okay, are they a big factor in terms of excitement in a marriage? Because there are those there are theories that, for example, as a man goes older, and even they are doing work and all this, the sexual drive sometimes gets affected, and even sexual activity goes down. um, can that affect, or can that bring about a marriage being boring? And if it can, how are you able to go around it?
First of all, it is true that our sex is affected for many reasons. There are so many factors that cause sex drive to go down. There are many. It could be age. It could be sicknesses such as BP, such as sugar, which is diabetes, and maybe the environment, or maybe the profession that one is doing. It can affect.
Sorry, Evangelist. Just sorry, keep your thought there. I've noticed Wom Kirewa is in studio. I just want us to recognize his presence. Wom Kirewa, welcome and good evening.
Good evening, CJ, and good evening, Evangelist. Thank you for your wise counsel.
Thank you so much.
And good evening, Lance.
Good evening. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Thank you, Wom Kirewa. We'll get back to you. Evangelist, you can continue with your submission.
Yes, you talked of sex being affected in the home as a result of a boring situation. Yes, what it is, I say there are many factors that may affect the sex in a marriage. It can be old age. It can be sicknesses such as diabetes, BP, STIs, and others. And those who are on swing drive, they can be affected. And also just the poor relationship that is between husband and wife. When people are not working together, your sex drive will go down because you are not in tandem with one another. So in most cases, you find that your sex drive will go down. But you must strive. Lance, you ask the question, what must you do? Sex is in the mind. It is in the mind. It is not in the nose. It is not in the leg. Sex is not in the penis or the vagina. But sex is in the mind. When the mind is ready to have sex, everything will be up and active, up and about. So it is important for a husband and a wife to be tuned to what is happening there. Don't tune off or tune out. You must tune in to what you are doing. If you are sleeping with your wife, you want to have sex with your wife, it must be serious business. Don't waste our time. Perform. If you can't perform, get out. You are a time waster. So the issue here is because it is expected of you. I talked about expectation. When your wife got married, she has got an expectation that she'll be having sex with you. should not get it from a former boyfriend, from another person, but from you. And therefore, it is important for you to give a sense. If you are not able to, because of various reasons, it must be discussed. You must be able to explain to your friend the reason why you are not able to perform in the way that she expects you. Sometimes maybe you're writing your exam and your mind is concentrating on passing the exam. So let your friend know that maybe during this very time, let excuse you so that you can concentrate on the books. And when you are done with it, then you can begin performing again. Sometimes it is important not to do it, but discuss it, let your friend know what is happening. The other problem that we do have in this case is that there's no communication in the marriage for the other person to know what is happening. When there's no communication, the person, your colleague, your partner, will start guessing what is happening. And in most cases, they will guess wrongly because you do not open up to them and tell them what the problem is. So communication is key.
Thank you, Evangelist. I'll have another rider, but slightly different. But before I get to that one, Wom Kelebai, you have a submission. Wom Kelebai.
Yes, please. I don't know. Should I answer or should I ask a question over the? What
You
was
can
your
ask a question.
what was your question that you had asked Shaabula for him to respond that way?
Okay. It
You
is
forgot.
related to it. Yeah, not that I've forgotten. It relates to sex and sex in a marriage, and whether it can be a serious factor in a marriage being boring. But if you have a question, please go ahead. Ask away. Evangelist is here to give guidance and counsel.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. No, I just wanted to maybe make a contribution over the issue of sex being ending up in to be boring. What happens most in, like Boshavula put it, there are so many contributing factors that makes a couple go through such difficulties. So when Boshavula talked of communication, I agree with him 100% that the couple needs to be up their game when it comes to communication. Most couples, they tend to part away or become so different, and because they no longer discuss, they no longer talk. They only used to talk when they were boyfriend, girlfriend, when they were looking forward to get married or to be in each other's lives. But the moment they come and live in the same house together, then they discover that they start avoiding discussing. I don't know whether they run out of stories or they even stop having fun, those small little activities that they used to do, and you find one partner start leaving the other by going somewhere or coming home late or indulging themselves in alcohol, and you know that alcohol contributes to the low to the libido being very low, and you cannot even perform well when you are indulging yourself in so much. Or if you indulge yourself in extramarital affairs, because that's what we see in our culture today, Zambia, where men when they don't get, or they have become so bored of their women at home, they tend to start looking around, chasing other skirts. And there's no way you expect a home to work well when a husband is serving two masters. You can't. You can perform with a girlfriend, and when you go home, you're already tired. It will be difficult for you to perform and give what your wife desire. At the same time, you will fail to communicate because there's someone who is already entertaining you, or who you are entertaining. So by so doing, we are being unfair to ourselves or to our family. And Miambo, I'll go back to Miambo. Most of our customs, they always drive us into those activities where we start calling our own husbands, our wives, especially women, they call their husband Papa instead of babe, honey. You forget about calling each other those names. You start calling your sweetheart, your husband. No, compare him to your father. How would you make love to your father? How would you even want to make romantic moves onto your father? So mambili ndiye pamene mumaitaya, pamene hapo wamboona mkazi wako, wamboita na mkazi wako ati mami, wambomuti ati mayo wandi wachivi.
It's got its own place.
Yeah. Wambo uchita mkazi wako, ukamuyangana mkazi wako, umuona monga ni bamai vako. How are you going
that is extreme.
It is not extreme, because that is what caused, because we forget about when two people come together. You are two different people from two different walks of life. You decide to live together, you are attracted to each other. And then the other one, because of Miambo, tells you to know respect. When he coughs, you should not cough back. When he does something, you should not do that. Treat him as your king, as your whatever. You can't talk. You can't even have jokes. Olo kushula. May I finish my point?
Yes, I'm kidding.
Olo kushula in the presence of mkazi wako. Sunga pshule. Because uyopa kuti atanyonelamu. Muntu omene usharing a life yako na eve. Olo mukazi wake una eve kutati muchaye matuma jokes to play like friends, like a loving couple. That's why muona tibazungu love yao, when they are showing love to people, they spoil one another. They buy presents, they go out on dates. When love is fading in the house, it's getting bored, they put down their phones, because my telephone ya manja ya ma cell phone ya natiletelela ndiye asiriza na vikwati ndiye paka na vikwati ngara boring. Thank you.
My phone nayo izankara topic inango nayo. Yeah. We have a situation. So I would like us to just bring in this situation, and Evangelist will respond, and we'll see how it goes. So here's the situation, Evangelist. So this lady says, we got married 6 years ago. I had problems conceiving, and we did all we could do, and finally had a child through IVF. Our child is now 3 years, but since last year, my husband has been insisting that we should have another child without IVF, knowing very well our situation. My marriage is shaking. I feel devastated. as the things that are now happening making me vulnerable. Have you gotten that? Or should I go
Yes,
through it again?
I've gotten it. They've been married for 6 years, and
Yes.
there are the problems of having a child, of conceiving, but they managed to get one. They managed to get a child through IBM, and the child is 3 years old. And now the gentleman wants another child when he knows that there are the problems. It was not possible for them to have a child. So the rest does not know what to do. That's what I got from you.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
First of all, let me put it this way. Your people let
We seem to have a bad line there. We seem to have a bad line there. We will wait for Evangelist to join back in. In the meantime, Wom Kelewai, you've heard the situation. Ikapwe there's a problem kunkala na mwana, and then they only had the child through the IVF. In viral, these medical terms, at in vitro should be in vitro fertilization, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, my terms, yeah, my doctors. My terms, yeah, my doctors. Yeah, yes, Evangelist.
No, but explain what IVF means and what it stands for,
Okay.
what
All
is
right.
involved.
Okay. So, Evangelist, Wom Kelewai has said I explain what IVF is. This is where they get the lady's egg and the sperm, they put them together, and then when it's fertilized, I think they put it in the lady's womb or something like that. I'm not a medical personnel, but that is the situation for
That
IVF.
is the simplest you can go.
Exactly. Otherwise, if there was a medical personnel, simple person, my details you can amsha. Yeah, but the egg is combined with the sperm for the fertilization process. Yes, Evangelist.
I think for the purpose of this program, your explanation
Yes.
is okay, is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Here we're trying to simplify it so that each one of us can understand. This is a process where the doctors, bamene vaona vobana plani, batenga masperms amukazi na maeggs, masperms amamuna, na maeggs amukazi.
Sperms ya mkazi.
Through kuchenja kwao, then later on unkara conception mwana apado through kuika mabele laika waitenga kuna sperms waitako na maeggs mwana apado.
And I'm told it's an expensive process. It's a very expensive process.
Yes. Now, it means this gentleman wants the same process to take place. Now, the question is to this lady, because the gentleman knows that he is not able to pregnant his wife. The gentleman knows that he is not able to pregnant his wife, but still more, he still wants the process to continue. It means that the gentleman has got the capacity to pay for this procedure. But if he has no capacity to pay for this procedure, then this child, the one child that they have, should be enough. But if they are able to pay for this procedure for them to have a second baby, there's no problem. Let them just discuss.
So, Evangelist, just a Just a correction, Evangelist. So this man wants to have a second child, but without using the IVF format. He wants to have a
Yeah.
child the normal way.
Era kapena engankare kuli wako mbali wamine sana tomoreo.
So unless
Yeah.
unless to me, he is actually lumping the problem of not producing children or having children on the wife. So he wants to try elsewhere because he knows that in that marriage he is not able. He knows that in this marriage he is not able. That's why the firstborn child was not actually their strength. It did not come from them. It was just changanya here and there. He knows. But if he insists that he wants to have a second child, definitely from not this woman, but from another woman, and maybe another procedure, a different procedure, because he knows he is not able, unless if he's going to say the problem is with the wife, and he wants to have a child, either from outside, or if he has got enough money to pay for this procedure to take place. So if he's able to pay for the procedure, let them sit down and discuss and agree. If they are not able to if they don't have money, then he should not. He knows, it will be difficult for him to have a baby. So let them discuss. Everything is through communication. Let them discuss whatever is the problem. Discuss many times.
So Evangelist mungapeza kapena kuli kumbali kwinango kunana pita ero vamuza ta iwe I'm pregnant for you. So manje pressure manje evira afake pressure pali madamu manje.
So
in that case,
maybe as you are answering that, maybe let's also try to help the lady here, because the woman says now devastated in this marriage, as the man knows that one number two sanga bwere without the IVF, so she's feeling devastated. How do we help this woman?
I've said that these two, they need to discuss and agree. In that discussion, the gentleman should be able to explain how it will be done, where that child will come from, how that child will be born. He should be able to explain to the wife and be able to convince her. And two, if he is thinking of getting a child from, or he has prevented a lady outside this marriage, he should be able to explain to the wife to say, I'm expecting a child from outside, out of the bedroom. Meaning that this child will not be a child of this lady. So meaning that, it's not, this will be a second child of the gentleman and not of the wife.
Iyi situation ioneka ingafunike kufunsisisa mshe mushe, cause ioneka mungati ni skeleton maningi. Yeah. Because one would get the impression that the husband is putting pressure on the wife, like saying iwe subara iwe ndiwe problem iwe, and threatening all sorts of things. That's the impression that I would get from this situation.
Exactly.
Okay. But if that's your impression, anyway, let's also get Shaabula's look at the story. Not Shaabula, sorry, Womunkereva, I don't know. How do you look at this story, and how do we help, this couple which might be on the blink of having a marriage destroyed?
Thank you so much. What I have noticed in this issue, like CJ put it, the story is a little bit incomplete. We have not been told who had a problem when they went to the doctors, and did they use the sperm for insemination? Did they use the sperm of a man and get the ovary of his wife, and then they did the fertility and then put it back in the womb for it to grow? Or did they get donors elsewhere? Somebody else who donated an egg or donated a sperm who has an issue. And once we find out that, and then it comes down to the reason why the husband today wants to avoid going through the same thing and wants a child. If he knew very well that his wife cannot conceive in the normal circumstances, and he still wants to insist that he wants to go and he wants to have a second child. So when you start making those insinuations to say he wants either to go outside their marriage and bring in or having extramarital affair, now he's trying to find an excuse of using this situation, this medical issue, as an excuse. But if that happens, that's why the lady, she's devastated, to say, my husband knows the current situation that we have, and he still comes back and says, I want us to have a second child. And he does not want to go through the first phase. Then he has an option already. He has made up his mind alone. And the wife also has her own position. So therefore, they seem to have hit the wall. Now, when they have hit a no-breaker, a deal breaker, so they have to sit down and assess and make a decision the way forward. Probably it could be true that it is the husband who is failing. His soldiers are failing to fertilize his wife's egg, or cannot swim stronger to go and fertilize unless those soldiers are helped, pushed by the doctors to go and fertilize the egg. Or the wife, her ovary or the environment is not okay. So but at the same time, this is a couple, and they cannot go and start having sexual intercourse outside marriage, because that will be a ground to divorce. When you are committing adultery, and that adultery comes in by way you discover that even another woman is pregnant, that's a ground you can use in the court of law to simply get away from that illicit marriage, because this man seemed to be not understanding, seemed to not care. So the wife has a choice. If he is not adhering to what they have gone together through, and she should ask him, how else do you want to bring a child in this? Come, let's continue making love. That does not mean they cannot make love, they cannot have sex. They can continue having sex. But if this man wants another way, that they don't want to go through the normal, the usual stuff that the doctors advise them, because they cannot conceive together, then let them move on to plan B. Mommy, don't waste your time. Your man, he is not responsible. He doesn't care of how you feel. That's why you feel so bad, because he's supposed to even be there, patting your shoulder, there for you 24/7, and finding solution together. But if he's not, he decide to go on his own, please, he's a time waster. just throw in a towel and move on. Maybe you also may be free and find a man whose soldiers can swim. I mean, you either go on separation or divorce because you have reached a deadlock. He doesn't want to have children in normal circumstances, and without going through the first process that you went through, or going through the doctor's advice. He wants something else, and you don't want that because that will be called cheating. So I will advise that, Mami, don't waste much time unless you are so dependent on this man who doesn't care about your feeling, about your situation. He doesn't love you, because if he loved you, he would sit with you, find a solution together to fix this. But if he chooses to go separate way, Mami, don't waste your time. Leave him. There are so many fish in the sea that can impregnate you and have a very normal child through the normal. Maybe he's the one who has a problem. So kumusha, so you can. Life must continue. You have to understand there's life after divorce. There's actually good life too, even better life than the sticking to a person who is busy giving you heartaches all the time. That's why we advise women to be independent, to be able to support themselves, not to be a dependent that they just give sex. And when something like that happens, they have no choice but to stick to any condition that a man will come up with. You can choose to leave if he's not following, what if he's not listening and showing any care and love. That's my take.
Thank you so much, Bom Kelevai, for that. We really appreciate. And of course, to you, our dear viewers, you can also join us into the studio, or you can be part of the program by simply leaving a comment underneath this broadcast, depending on which platform you are watching us from, either on Facebook or as well as on YouTube. We really appreciate and value your input. But of course, let me also take this time to welcome Abia in the studio. Abia, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Lance, and good evening to my fellow panelists there.
All right. Thank you so much, and good to know that Pata is in the building. You've seen the situation that we have, which we are discussing. Kindly go ahead and make your submission. Let's help this lady who is being devastated in her marriage.
Yeah, it's normal to be devastated because the beginning of the story, they were together, and now they are on a separate learning track. Yeah, it's really, really bad for our woman. But sometimes this family thing, when somebody is speaking on his or her behalf, he only speaks out good things to his or her part. What I'm trying to say is this: as Mkereva said that this story lacks some extra information. Yeah, I concur with him with that. So I think she should have been explained to both parties how it begins and how the story came to the situation right now. And I will not go to the point where Mukereva said, Mama, leave him. No, we are not separating him. Let's not separate this family. But let's encourage the family to say, if that thing is happening right now, take that man, sit down. What has gone wrong for him to take that step? Because I heard the language to say that this man know that the wife cannot conceive, and why is he demanding a child? So ask the man, where are we going to get that child? I think that's my beginning.
Well, thank you so much, Abia, for that contribution. And of course, due to unforeseen circumstances, CJ has left us in the studio attending to the unforeseen circumstance. And of course, due to that as well, we'll have to shorten the program a little bit so that we can also try and accommodate other things that have come in. However, in shortening the program, let's get to maybe have closing remarks coming through from you, the panelists, looking at what we have discussed today. Of course, our topic of discussion being a boring marriage and what causes the marriage to be boring, as well as also the situation that came through. Let me get to start with you, Boss Shaabula. Uh, your closing remarks on our topic of discussion and probably your final advice to this couple that is going through this devastating state in their marriage.
In my closing remarks, I would say that we are looking at a boring marriage. By this, we are talking about a marriage which is not progressive, a marriage which is not interesting, a marriage which is not enjoyable, a marriage which is not fascinating, a marriage which is stressful, a difficult marriage. That's what we are looking at. And it is difficult because these people, because of certain things that are happening, it could be the environment which is poor, it could be violence which is there, stubbornness, it can be quarrels, it could be attitude, it could be poor performance in the bedroom, it can be poor response or lack of discussing of issues in the home, or maybe doing one thing over and over again, or something, or just an attitude of being indifferent. So these are some of the things that can cause a marriage to be poor. And then what we must understand is that in conclusion, what we must understand that when we get into a marriage, we don't get into the marriage in order to divorce. I'll repeat. When we get married, we don't get married in order to divorce. We get married in order to stay to good till death to separate us. Two, we get married so that we can be happy with the person that we've married. We get married so that we can form a unity. We get married so that we can work together and improve our lives, by joining efforts together and talent and gifts together. We get married so that we can have children. We also get married so that we can be, we can just enjoy life. So there are various reasons. And therefore, there should not be anything that is going to disturb this marriage, which we ourselves are going to create. Not even financing should be able to come in and separate us or create problems. No. But, finances or money in the home should be able to cement our relationship. Even the difficulties that we meet in the marriage, it is an opportunity for you to sit down and iron out your differences so that you can begin working together as husband and wife. And we must understand that it is from home where a family is created, where leaders are created, where managers are created, where evangelists are created, where proper good citizens who contribute to the well-being of society are created. And society is created from the family. And therefore, we should be careful with each other, in the way we handle each other. We need to be sensitive. We need to be careful. We need to understand if there are problems that arise in our marriage, we should be able to have what is called communication. Let's sit down and put our issues on the table and discuss them openly and fairly, without being intimidated, without being afraid. When we do that, we remove stress, we will remove, suspicion, we will remove doubt, we will improve love and unity. May God help us as we work towards building our relationships and building our family. God bless us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shaabula. We really appreciate to that. And of course, let me get to Bomu Kerebai, your concluding remarks as well.
Thank you so much, Lancy, and thank you, Shaabula, for the wisdom. You are ever on point. Hence this program. Yeah, has he gone? Oh, okay. This internet. Thank you. The topic has been perfect, and couples, let's not treat each other as though we are parents who are who can no longer have fun. That's where we make mistakes. Couples must be free to each other, with each other. Couples must communicate. This is the only part that makes a relationship either grow or die. Ask everyone that has a relationship or a marriage that has worked, that is doing well today. Ask about what is your secret. Ask them of their secret. They will tell you is tolerance, acceptance, friendship, and communication. You do not hide from one another. When you get married, biblically we say when two people come together, they become one. But what we see in our Zambian setup, men, mostly men, actually even women now have started. And I think the reason why women are starting is because they are sick and tired of being treated like doormats. Treat them like they are nothing but just useless creature that they are just brought into a relationship, so-called marriage, to just manufacture the children and look after the children and ignore and clean the houses and ignore all the ingredients that makes the house or that makes the so-called marriage work positively. We tend to treat our women as our maids, personal maids that we can have sex with or without their consent. We don't communicate. We already make presumptions, assuming that my wife, she's ready at any given time. Whenever I want to hold her, to touch her, I can just walk in without even saying a word. That puts our relationships in jeopardy. Communicate. Our women, they love us because they have feelings for us. Isevamuna, sometimes some of our men ask Mamuna, when we look at our wives, those days when she used to put on a short skirt, that is what is making, because that is what is making us to wanting to even put them in our home so that we can have them for ourselves. And then, because Mamubalisa 2, 3, 4, maona timanje vankala panyumba kala azimai, then you go back and start looking again elsewhere. That's where we do it wrong, forgetting that our women can do exactly the same thing. Today, our women are empowered, education wise, monetary wise, economically, they are empowered. And if we are not careful, we men, we will be erased from our so-called traditional roles that we purport to be strong, masculine, testosterone, whatever. But that is the erase. So if we want to remain relevant, let us learn to treat our women with respect. If you want to cheat, then drop your wife and go for another woman. But you can't have both. You can't have both unless she accepts that you can. Then you can go ahead and marry the second, because our tradition, our laws allows us to marry the second wife with permission from our wives. So in short, let us treat our women with respect and communicate in a respectable way. Put away the cell phones in the house. Talk to each other. Have a conversation, a symbiotic conversation. Don't just pretend to be busy and work related busy, and then you go to bed. When you want sex, you just tap her. Pwera kono yo. Hammer, you go to bed. That's not love. That's punishment. That's torture. Communicate. Get in the situations together. And imwe wakazi na imwe pamanyumba, provoke your women, your men sexually. Dress, you know what they like. You know the perfume they like, how they want you to smell. Go to the salon, do those makeup, whatever, with your hair and anything that you would love to. Of course, if you want him to pay, let him pay. Do those things, not my maps, pa maziwa, pa my brows. Yam milk from the baby. No. Be romantic. And then you see, I promise you, you keep your man in the house. Complaints, you can complain. It's normal, but find a way to communicate. You know what triggers your husband to be mad. Find a way. When he's happy, that's when you can bring out issues. Not he's stressing about his job, he's about to be fired. That's when you want to talk about saloon. So anyway, let me end there.
I was about to come and say, we are having a new session.
Ndaluba, I finished. I knew.
Okay, thank you so
I'm
much.
done. I think I've said it all.
Okay, definitely,
Yes.
you've said it all. Thank you so much. Also, thank you so much to Abia. Unfortunately, I won't give you the opportunity to say your last remarks, as time is really not our best ally. So thanks to you for coming through into the studio, for joining us. And then also,
Lance, excuse me, Lance, please.
Yes,
What's the rush? We are Zambians. We are very poor at time management. Give Abia time to say something. And just even a minute. Thank you.
Sorry, Womo Kelevai. As you know, time is of essence, and of course, we wouldn't love to keep our viewers longer than we had told them. So we really apologize that we can't bring in Comrade Abia.
I think it's fine, Lars. It's fine, Lars. Let's go. Let's move on. It's fine. Everything has been said by Mkeleva and Evangelist.
All right, thank you so much, and thanks. Another thanks goes to Caroline Chanda and everybody else that has been watching the program on Facebook as well as on YouTube. We really appreciate. And another thanks goes to the IT department, Emmanuel Nkunika, and the team as well as the producer for the program. And on behalf of everybody, my name is Lance Sanibanda saying good evening. Have a blessed week and a blessed Friday coming through. Thank you so much.